Welcome back to Hoops Pill. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like, and share this video before we even get started. Joel Embiid is at the center of a storm the league cannot ignore anymore. From public callouts to on-court confrontations, the flopping debate has reached a breaking point. A shocking lifetime ban has reportedly been announced. Everything about how the NBA handles this game is about to change forever. This is the moment where basketball stops being just basketball and becomes a full-blown scandal. One single Twitch stream lit the fuse, and the explosion is still going. The man who struck the match was Jaylen Brown the day after the Boston Celtics blew a 3-1 series lead to the Philadelphia 76ers. Game 7 had just ended the night before, and Brown sat down in front of a camera with something burning inside him. Embiid had dropped 34 points and sent the Celtics home, and Brown was not going to stay quiet about how that happened. What Brown said on that stream is the entire reason we are sitting here right now. He said flopping has ruined the game, and he said it with zero hesitation and zero apology. He named Embiid directly, called him one of the best bigs in basketball history, then said he flops and he knows it. He told every viewer he could clip it up and prove every single word he was saying. He told the paid accounts on social media to post whatever they wanted because he was not backing down. That was the spark that set the whole internet on fire in under an hour. Within hours, the clips were flooding every NBA page on Instagram, every NBA account on X, and every NBA subreddit you can find. The Athletic ran a full breakdown of the stream, the New York Post pulled the post-game quotes, and CBS Boston covered the Twitch session in complete detail. But Brown had not even started on Twitch. He started on the court, standing in front of reporters saying Embiid flopped around and got extra calls that the league rewarded him for. The Twitch version was just a louder version of the same story he was already telling. The series itself made every single word land 10 times harder than it normally would have. The Celtics had been up 3-1, they had complete control, and then Embiid came back from his appendectomy recovery like a man on a mission. The Sixers won 3 straight games, Boston went home, and Brown watched the entire season dissolve from the losing locker room. So when he got in front of that camera and said flopping ruined the league, the timing made the whole world stop and listen. The reaction came in fast, and it was completely split right down the middle before the day was even over. Stephen A. Smith called the comments an awful look on First Take, and the Get Up panel said the timing made Brown look like he was making excuses. Jeff Schwartz from Fox Sports called the stream soft and whiny and said Brown needed to move on. But on the other side, fans pulled up old clips of Embiid flailing backwards on light contact, selling fouls in the post, embellishing every single call going back years. By May 5th, Knicks fans were piling on with their own jabs, and old quotes from other players started getting recirculated at a speed that nobody could keep up with. Old footage from old games started trending again. Devin Booker's name came back up. Andre Drummond's name came back up. The Houston Rockets coaching staff came back up. Brown's words had pulled a thread that ran through almost a full decade of Embiid's career, and once that thread got pulled, everything started unraveling on the timeline. But here's the thing, Jaylen Brown was not the first player to say any of this. He was just the loudest voice in the most recent moment and the most viral version of a criticism that had been building for years. 3 months before that Twitch stream, Devin Booker had said almost the exact same thing in real time during a game in February of 2026. The Phoenix Suns were playing the Sixers, February 8th. Booker and Embiid got tangled up after a no call, words got exchanged, and both players picked up technical fouls. After the game, Booker explained what he told Embiid on the court, and it was almost word for word what Brown would say 3 months later on Twitch. He said Embiid was too good of a player to be flopping like that, and then he pivoted to respect before delivering the exact same cut. The structure of the criticism was identical, calling him a talented player, acknowledging the resume, then delivered the knockout blow. Booker called him too good to flop. Brown called him one of the best bigs in basketball history who flops, and the framing was the same script running 3 months apart from 2 different stars in 2 completely different conferences. When 2 players that far apart in geography and circumstance land on the exact same framing, that is not a coincidence, that is a consensus forming in real time. The framing is the smartest version of the criticism, because calling Embiid a bad player would get you laughed out of every gym in America. He's a former MVP, he's led the league in scoring, he's been an All-NBA selection year after year, and those numbers are not up for debate. So the players who want to call him out on the embellishment have to thread the needle, honor the talent first, then point at the part of the game they want fixed. Roll back even further to January 22nd of 2026, 3 weeks before the Booker incident, and the Sixers were playing the Houston Rockets. Embiid had drawn 9 free throws in the first half alone, and Houston's coaching staff was watching it pile up with their blood starting to boil. Rockets assistant coach Royal Ivey said it loud enough at halftime that reporters caught every word. He called it foul baiting and said the situation was absolutely crazy. That's 3 different incidents from 3 different basketball voices in 3 different parts of the country, all inside a 4-month stretch of one single season. Houston in January, Phoenix in February, Boston in May, and Embiid is the only common thread running through all of it. But the pattern goes back even further than 2026, all the way back to 2018 when the Sixers played the Detroit Pistons in a tight game that ended in overtime. Andre Drummond made what looked like light contact with Embiid going up for a hook shot, and Embiid sold it. He flailed backwards, he fell hard, and the officials ejected Drummond within a minute left. The Sixers lost the game 133-132 in overtime, but the play was the only talking point anyone cared about. Pistons coach Dwayne Casey called Embiid a bully who flopped and said he sent the video directly to the league office. The NBA reviewed the tape overnight and the next day issued Embiid the only formal flopping warning of his entire career. Andre Drummond went on social media after the ruling and said that warning showed exactly what kind of player Embiid was. 8 years apart, the words barely changed because the behavior never really changed either. The Brown Twitch stream didn't invent a new criticism, it put a fresh coat of paint on one that's been alive for almost a decade. If players and coaches were the first wave of critics, broadcasters became the second wave, and the broadcasters might have been the most damaging of them all. Broadcasters don't have a horse in the race. They're not explaining a loss. They're not protecting a teammate. They're sitting at the table calling the game in real time. When a broadcaster sounds frustrated, it's because the basketball itself has frustrated them, and that's exactly what happened in Miami on March 30th of 2026. The Sixers were in town for a regular season game against the Heat. Adebayo was guarding Embiid, and possession after possession, the ball stopped being the focus. Embiid would feel a forearm or a hand and crumple. Adebayo would back off, and the whistle would come or it wouldn't. By the first quarter, the Heat broadcasters had completely stopped pretending they were neutral and told the audience flat out that you couldn't put your hands on Embiid because he would flop. They pointed out that Adebayo had to physically back up to avoid contact because contact was the trigger for the fall. The clips ran wild on Threads and Instagram by halftime. The comment sections turned into massive debates, and fans called the basketball unwatchable. What made the Heat broadcast different from the Brown Twitch stream is the complete absence of any real grievance. Miami wasn't being eliminated by the Sixers that night. The announcers were calling a regular season game in March, and they still couldn't hide their frustration. When a player complains after a loss, you can write it off as sour grapes, but when a broadcast booth complains about how the game looks, you have to take the complaint at face value. The vocabulary had calcified by this point. Foul baiting, flopping, embellishment, unwatchable, and once a vocabulary calcifies, a player gets stuck in that lens forever. James Harden was a foul-drawing artist long after he stopped pulling the rip-through move, and LeBron caught flop accusations for years, even when he was barely doing it. Once the league decides what your reputation is, every single play gets read through that exact lens. Embiid is now permanently inside that lens.
Every fall is the flop, every whistle is the bait, every long stretch at the free throw line is the proof. Even when the contact is real and the call is completely right, the conversation still defaults to embellishment because the script has been